When we see a bullfinch, most often we think of only one thing: a beautiful winter bird, a red breast, a postcard, snow, mountain ash. But in fact, bullfinch is not just a winter decoration. This small bird has its own important job in nature. It affects plants, helps maintain balance in forests, and can even show what's happening to the ecosystem around us. And today we'll look at why nature needs bullfinches, what role they play, and why their disappearance would be a bad sign. 10 functions of bullfinch in nature. The first function is to regulate the number of seeds. Bullfinches feed on the seeds of trees, shrubs, and grasses. They prevent some plants from multiplying uncontrollably and thus maintain balance. The second function is that it participates in the natural selection of plants. Birds are more likely to choose available, weak, or damaged seeds. As a result, plants still have a chance to produce stronger offspring. The third function is that the bullfinch helps shape the forest. By feeding on buds, seeds, and young plant parts, it slightly prunes vegetation. This is not destruction, but a natural adjustment of growth. The fourth function is that it is part of the food chain. Bullfinches can be eaten by birds of prey and some animals. Yes, it sounds harsh, but in nature, each species not only takes, but also becomes an important link for others. The fifth function is that it helps to transfer organic matter. Birds move from place to place, feed, leave droppings, and so the nutrients return to the soil. This is a small but constant contribution to the circulation of substances. The sixth function is that the bullfinch controls some of the insects. The bullfinch's main food is vegetable, but during the season it can eat small insects and larvae, especially when it needs more protein. The seventh function is to help maintain plant diversity. When a bird feeds on different seeds and buds, it prevents one species from completely dominating the others. The eighth function, bullfinch, serves as an indicator of the state of nature. If there are noticeably fewer birds, this may indicate problems: lack of food, the disappearance of shrubs, deforestation of green areas, or climate change. The ninth function is that it connects the forest, the city, and the person. Bullfinches often appear near people in winter. They remind us that even the city courtyard is part of a large natural system. The 10th function is that the bullfinch supports the winter life of the ecosystem. When many birds fly away, the bullfinch remains an active participant in nature during the cold season. He continues to feed, move, and interact with plants. 10 unusual facts about bullfinches. The first fact: not all bullfinches have a red breast. In males, it is bright, while females look more modest, more often gray-beige. The second fact: bullfinches do not always live only where there is a lot of snow. It's just easier to spot it on a white background in winter. The third fact: bullfinches often do not eat the flesh of the berries themselves, but rather the seeds inside. The fourth fact: they can be very careful. Sometimes the bullfinch sits nearby, but is silent and does not give himself away. The fifth fact: the bullfinch's song is quite quiet and soft. He's not a loud singer like nightingale, but he has his own calm voice. The sixth fact: bullfinches can stay in small groups, especially in winter, when it is easier to find food together. The seventh fact: they love mountain ash, maple, birch, alder, and various shrubs. It all depends on the area and the season. The eighth fact: bullfinch doesn't look chubby because he's fat. In the cold, the bird fluffs its feathers to keep warm. The ninth fact: in summer, bullfinches are harder to see because they become more secretive and stick to the green foliage. The 10th fact: bullfinch is one of those birds that give people the feeling of a living winter. Without it, the winter landscape would be much poorer. Conclusion: it turns out that a bullfinch is not just a beautiful bird from a postcard. It regulates plants, participates in food chains, helps nature maintain balance, and shows us how healthy the environment around us is. There are no random creatures in nature. Even a small bird with a red breast does its job. And if one day in winter we stop seeing bullfinches, it won't just be the loss of a beautiful view. This will be a signal that something has gone wrong in nature. Subscribe to the channel if you want to find out why nature needs the most ordinary creatures that we often don't even notice.